Hi, I'm some girl named Dana, and I'm hanging out with Rob from Front Row Live.
First of all, I want to talk about your debut single, Hello I Am, because it's such a cool, like, introductory / interview in a song type of song. And I love that your voice is also like part of the instrumentation. Can you talk to me about like creating this track and like what was on your mind when you kind of started writing this?
So, the song actually was called Interview initially, and I started the song. I was driving down the one with my dad, and I used to always view writing as kind of more of an escapism. I loved writing like storytelling songs. Like that was just kind of the way that I always wrote. And I based kind of this whole song about how, like, if someone was interviewing me, because I felt like there was a lot going on in my life, and I just finally kind of wanted to tell my own story. So I wrote like 16 verses, I think, in the car. And then I got to Los Angeles, met my friend DQ, who has been kind of just like developing my voice for the past year. And I ended up finishing the song on the piano, and then when we were cutting like the vocal for it, we were just like, yeah, let's just throw in some backgrounds. And then the backgrounds turned to more backgrounds, and then those backgrounds turned into the entire track, and I don't even know how it ended up getting there. But I ended up wanting to name it Hello I Am, though, just because it felt like a really good way to introduce myself politely before I start really getting up and personal with the rest of the music. So yeah.
Did you have any idea that it was gonna turn out the way that it turned out now while you were writing these 16 bars? Did you already have in mind like how you were going to deliver the lyrics?
Not at all. No. I had no idea that I was going to release it. Like when I first got in contact with Jason, who signed me to Lava, I didn't even know my manager sent those songs. That's like a whole other story. This all happened so randomly. It's a pretty funny story, but that song was literally just the way that I wanted to introduce myself, whether it was released or not. It's just I needed to get it out for my own therapy. And then when I felt like, or when I saw that other people were connecting to it, I thought that it was important to release that, especially if I was going to actually put out the EP. So yeah, and none of it turned out. None of it happened how we planned it to be. None of these songs, none of it. It's kind of just like this whole EP. All these songs are just kind of like, it's just stuff that happened in the last year of my life, and they're just little snapshots of moments.
I love that you follow up that single with Kitchen Table, which is like
Yeah.
a reality that we tend to overlook. Like, after listening to your song, I was like, wait a minute, the kitchen table is the most important place in the house. Like, that's where everything kind of happens. We just don't realize it. But what was there a specific moment that triggered you to kind of start writing the song?
Kitchen Table?
Yeah.
I wrote it last year. Actually, I wrote it right after Hello I Am, but I was going to college and just my classes were really hard. I was working 4 nights a week, and I was just getting kind of homesick. And so like I do a lot of times when I start to feel deeply about something, I just started writing. And I just kept writing down memories, like my brother and I, like playing upstairs when I was little, drawing pictures and writing music. When I found out I got into college, when my parents got divorced, like all of these massive things that happened in my life that changed me, like for the better, for worse, all seemed to happen around like the kitchen and the kitchen table. And like for some reason, like no matter what was going on in life, I did feel stable there, because like you can't lie to your mom at the kitchen table. Like you just don't do that. Truth comes out. Like, so I just felt like it was a really special spot that I wanted to write about.
You mentioned earlier that DQ was kind of helping you kind of discover your sound. How do you know this is your sound? How do you know this is Some Girl Named Dana?
I don't. I don't even think I really have a sound. I think I've gotten some feedback from a lot of people saying like, oh, I love how you do these background vocals. It's like your thing. And I mean, maybe it is, but all of it just kind of happened because we were just kind of having fun with the song. And I mean, from where Kitchen Table started, the guitar in the song is actually the original guitar that we wrote it with. But the way it shaped and just kind of formed into what it is now is pretty random. And honestly, you'll come to find that music in the future, because there may possibly be more songs coming soon. They don't really sound similar to each other. Like, it's just different stories, a different vibe for each story that happened in my life.
That's interesting, because just listening to these two songs, I kind of imagined that your debut EP would be kind of a biography about you. So I guess it'll be a mixture of sounds and kind of topics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll be a surprise for sure. You'll get to see all sides of me, the side that cries a lot, the incredibly emotional Anna, and then the Anna that just likes to procrastinate and hang out with their friends and not take life too seriously and just wants to laugh a little bit. Like, you'll see all of the sides.
But is a vulnerable Anna a thing, or is this something that you're learning to get comfortable with?
That is something that I'm definitely learning to become comfortable with. I would say a big thing about this EP, the reason that it's special to me, and no matter what happens with it, if one person likes it or if 0 people like it, whatever, releasing this EP is definitely going to be, it's hard because I sing about things that I haven't been able to talk about with my family or talk about with people before. And it feels like, because I always viewed writing as an escapism, I'm finally able to use it in a different kind of self-expression, which, I mean, it's really helped me grow. That's, the last year of my life, I feel like I've really grown the most, just because I've been able to come to terms with my own emotions and not run away from them anymore. So that's probably the biggest thing about this EP, is it's really my truth.
Is DQ a producer for this EP, or who is DQ to you?
So DQ, he's a vocal producer, and then he also co-produced a few songs in the EP, but basically he's just kind of like developed my voice in the last year. And when I moved to Nashville, I had never co-written before. And actually up until last year, I had never co-written before. And I started writing with DQ, and then I started writing more in the Nashville community. And I've just really grown as a songwriter and as a singer too, working with him and then all the people that I've been able to work with in Nashville. From
getting these kinds of experiences with songwriting, how do you feel they have impacted the way that you write your music now?
I'm a lot more comfortable with sharing my vulnerability, and I'm realizing that it's okay to not be okay. And that a lot of times when you write something, you feel like you're going through it alone, and then you share it with somebody. Like, I would share my songs with my friends or with other people, and they would just sit back and be like, wow, like, I feel the same way. And I'd be like, you do? And that's the crazy thing about songwriting and music, is like, it actually really connects you. So I feel like it's really been able to teach me how to be more vulnerable and how to be able to reach out to others and like start a conversation.
So as we're getting ready for a possible debut EP sometime soon, like, how do you feel about where you are with this EP? Do you feel like you're almost done with it? Do you feel like there's still a lot of rewrites that you need to do? Like, where are you at right now with this?
The EP is written, but I literally am about to record a vocal for the next song coming out next week. So
you're just constantly like recording, writing, prepping something to release.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, writing is the way I've always been able to survive. It's the way that I was raised. It's just, I've always been around music and around the ability to create, which I'm really, really blessed for. But yeah, no, I definitely am still finishing the next song. So that'll be fun. It'll be a quick month.
Can we maybe expect more music like Hello, I Am, where your voice is also basically the instrumentation around the song?
You can expect a little bit of that, but I definitely go outside of my box for this EP. Just lyrically, kind of like production wise, it's honestly all over the board. You said it really honestly. You said it right. It's kind of just like a biography, like an autobiography that I made.
So now that you have a major label behind you, how does that change your creative process? How does that change the way that you kind of like release these songs?
I don't know if it changes the way that like if I wasn't signed, I would still be putting these songs out. I mean, that was the plan eventually. I think that it's exciting to have other people to be a part of the conversation and help me with things that, I'm not the best marketer or I'm not the best at other things. So it kind of allows me to focus a little bit more on the music and the art and the creative process, which has been really awesome. So I would say that's kind of how it's helped, for sure.
Do you feel like there's less pressure or more pressure now that, you have this team behind you?
I mean, I would be lying if I would say it's less pressure. I like, as much as I want to be like, oh, it's great. Like, there's always pressure when you have expectations. And also, like, I have pressure on myself too, because this is the first time that I really have told my story and been vulnerable with my writing and not written about being in someone else's shoes. So it's scary, like, putting yourself in the spotlight and being like, you don't know who I am, and here are all my deepest, darkest secrets. Hi. So I think it's probably a lot of pressure I'm putting on myself, but.
So the fact that you're not used to doing that, how did the relationship between you and DQ kind of start? Was it something that just naturally happened between the two of you in the studio, or did it take some getting used to before you kind of started opening up about the music that you were writing?
I would say it was an initial bond for sure. The first song we wrote is still one of my favorite songs. And, we might release it one day because it was a really special song to me. But from the beginning, our minds just kind of worked similarly, but also differently. So I was able to learn from him. Yeah, it was definitely a bond from the start.
So you mentioned there's a new song coming out soon. What else can fans expect within the next few months from you?
Music, lots of music. I would say just really start to get to know me, whether they want to or not. But yeah, I would say I want this EP to be there for people however they need it. Like, they don't need to cry to a certain song that I'm not going to title yet because I want it to be a surprise. They don't need to laugh. They can just use it for however they want, because once you release music, it's not yours anymore. It's for other people. And like, that's part of the reason I'm an artist, not just a songwriter, is because it's not just for my therapy. I've realized that music other people's music has helped me. Like Fast Car, Tracy Chapman was the first song that I really heard and decided that I want to do this for the rest of my life. So I think they're just going to be able to have a piece of music that they can use for whatever they need, and they can get to know me if they feel like it.